guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to talk about Smile.
Smile.
We're here to talk about Smile. So this movie just dropped on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
So we were able to watch it today, which I didn't know was actually going to come on that streaming service. I knew it would be available for VOD. So
yeah,
if you have Paramount Plus, you should be able to watch this movie today. But it also came out in theaters like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
As well. So yeah, we're going to talk about this movie. We're going to talk about our thoughts on this movie. But before we get into it, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about movies and TV shows, and we do live streams covering entertainment news every Saturday night. So if you like that kind of stuff, it sounds interesting to you, hit the subscribe button.
Like the video.
And yeah, also be sure to like the video like she said, and then leave us a comment down below. Did you watch Smile? What are your thoughts on it? There was a lot of hype going into this movie, I feel like. I feel like a lot of people enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in that comment section below. So Smile.
Smile.
This is a horror movie that is directed by Parker Finn, who also wrote the movie as well.
Yeah.
So Parker Finn hasn't really done much.
He has not.
In his career, so I don't really have anything to go off of with this one. But the thing about this movie is, like I said, it was getting a lot of hype. A lot of people were praising this. When I first saw the trailer, it looked very silly. Looked very, very stupid.
It did. It reminded us of the movie Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare, for sure. Was getting some Truth or Dare vibes in there. And I would say that this movie is probably what I would probably call it a mix between Truth or Dare and It Follows.
Yeah.
If I were to compare it to a couple of other movies. But
well, I gotta say though, the promotion or advertisement for this movie was pretty cool though. I don't know if you saw it. But like they had people going around and like just standing around and smiling.
Wasn't there like some girl like standing at like a baseball game or something, like in the background smiling? Yeah, I did see some of that online.
Yeah, so that's pretty creepy. But
and it worked because this movie I think has made like $200 million at the box office, which is like an insane amount of money for a movie like this. I'm sure it wasn't budgeted at anything more than like 15 to 20 million. So
yeah,
it made some good money for sure. But okay, so given all the hype, again, I was kind of excited to watch this because I've been hearing a lot of people that I trust give this movie favorable reviews.
Yeah.
So how did it deliver for you?
Yeah, so, I mean, overall, I did not love this movie. I was definitely a little disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this movie definitely had a message. And I feel like it was very loud and clear.
Yep.
So I will definitely give props to that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the message that it was trying to deliver is a very important message. And I feel like it was, talking about mental health and trauma and just, how being a person is hard sometimes. And,
it is.
We all just go through different things in our life and, we might struggle with different, mental health things. And, maybe if you're lucky, you don't, but I know me personally, I, struggle with that here and there throughout my whole life. And so this did resonate with me as far as that went.
Yeah, there was definitely, I feel like a lot of thought put into this script for sure. I do feel like it was overall, it was well written. The story was well executed. I would say, for me, it was an okay movie overall. I didn't think it was a bad movie or anything.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a horror movie. It's supposed to be scary. I wasn't really scared. I didn't really feel a whole lot of atmosphere in this movie. It's not, again, I compared it to It Follows, but only in premise alone. So just going into the actual, like what this movie's about. So you have the character of Rose, who is a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
She has a past. She has a traumatic past as well. And she gets a patient one day that comes in there and she's freaking out about seeing stuff all around her. And it's these people that are smiling at her and she's seeing hallucinations. And then she starts to smile and then, things escalate from there. I don't want to get into too much like spoiler territory here. But then it's almost like she passes the smile curse, I guess, if you want to call it that. That's what I'm saying. The comparison to It Follows, because they're kind of passing curses to each other.
It kind of also reminds me of The Ring, though.
The Ring as well, yeah. You can make some Ring comparisons.
Just
also.
the whole passing along of a curse kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
if you, what was it in The Ring? If you watch the tape,
Yeah.
you know,
Even
in
though
so many days, you know.
in this movie, I don't feel like that was as fully fleshed out as the other two movies because it actually showcases like the character's like dilemma and having to pass that trauma along to somebody else or that curse along to somebody else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I don't really feel like they fully realize that in this one. I don't really feel like they take you through that as much because they're focused on other aspects of it, which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, that's just the way they chose to write it. I'm not saying it's a negative or a positive. I just would have preferred if they kind of went into it a little bit more.
Yeah. So like you said, this movie was not really that scary, but I will say it did deliver a couple of good jump scares.
Yeah, there were a couple of good jump scares. The only problem is that I feel like the couple of jump scares it had were in the trailer. And we watched the trailer, so it's like when they happened, I was like, I already knew they were going to happen. I think there was one that wasn't. That kind of, I think, got you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like maybe they were just going for more of the message. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's some people out there who thinks that it was effective at, you know, scaring them and giving them
I don't see that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't find this movie to be scary at all. But going into like the message a little bit further, I felt like it was a little heavy-handed. Like all the characters in this movie are kind of dicks to the lead character, like to the point where, and maybe that's the message, people just don't take like mental health seriously, because she was a psychiatrist, so she did take it seriously, but it's almost like it's set up from the beginning like everybody around her is not really taking her or her job seriously, and that plays throughout the rest of the movie. So
she is engaged in this movie.
Yeah.
And you know, you would think if someone is engaged, like you would know each other pretty well and all that kind of stuff. And so you quickly see that this guy just really he doesn't, I guess, know as much about her as you would think he should know.
Yeah.
And he's like very easily like peace out, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, he finds out that she's doing, you know, quote unquote crazy things, and her sister, instead of like trying to help her, they're just like acting like they're afraid of her, like just real standoffish, and
I mean,
that's just not the way you handle that type of stuff.
Try to help her by getting her like psychiatrist.
Getting her former therapist.
Yeah, therapist to come talk with her. But again, like you said, they kind of just treated her like, you know, a disease or something.
Yeah.
And just they were very frightened, which, you know, rightfully so. Like it is scary to see like a loved one struggle with mental illness or whatever.
Yeah.
And obviously this was like a tad more, like it was a little bit more than just mental illness, like, hey, I'm feeling depressed or something.
There's a scene where she literally falls through a table and she's bleeding all over her arms, and everybody's just standing around like,
and they're kind of like,
I'm like, you call a freaking ambulance or something, like get her some help, somebody go help her up. Like it just gets to the point where it's just a little too ridiculous.
Like I said, I you know, A+ for the message, but it still just fell short for me.
There wasn't a lot of like what I would say good atmosphere, good scares, good tension, anything like that. But there was some good like gore effects and CGI and stuff like that you would expect from like a horror movie like this. Like I thought there was some really like bloody scenes and sequences that were well done. Like you could tell it was CGI, but at the same time, you know, it felt mostly realistic. But there is a big moment towards the end of the movie that you can tell is clearly CGI, and it's kind of ridiculous. I thought it was effective, kind of. I don't know. What did you think of that big moment at the end? Again, we're not trying to spoil, but there's something kind of big and a little over the top that happens towards the end.
I feel like it was okay. It was okay, but it just, I don't know if it hit me like they were wanting it to. Yeah,
and just going off of that, like I feel like that's what I've been hearing is this movie isn't what you expect it to be, and it takes this like big turn towards the end. And if that's the turn that people were talking about, I was like it felt in line with the movie, like it didn't feel like it came out of nowhere or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it was a little over the top, but at the same time, like it was pretty consistent with everything else. I wasn't really like taken aback by it. So I didn't feel like it was this big like reveal or shock or anything to like change the course of the movie. It wasn't like Barbarian. I feel like people were like trying to compare it to Barbarian or something.
Yeah, I would not say that.
So overall, I have to say it's a thing with horror this year. People are just overhyping every horror movie to the moon, I feel like, and very rarely does one deliver. I think Barbarian might be like maybe the only one this year that has for me. And this is another one of those where people were saying this is a really good horror movie, and it's just an okay horror movie to me. So, what would you give this movie if you're going to score it?
I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Just pretty average.
Yeah, I feel like we've been scoring everything the same the past few reviews we've done. I hate to do it. Maybe it's just because we watch so many movies together. We're just forming like the same opinion on stuff.
Or maybe we're just watching too many average movies.
I think that's the case as well. So I'll give this a 3 out of 5 also. Again, just a very average movie. I am glad that we didn't go to the theater to see this one. I'm glad that we waited till it was at home to watch it, because I feel like this is a movie to be enjoyed at home for free on Paramount Plus if you have Paramount Plus. But look, that's our review of Smile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on the movie. Let us know if you're going to watch this movie based on our, again, mild recommendation in the comment section below. Turn on those bell notifications and follow us on our social media accounts down below. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.